One person is under arrest. More are being pursued in the death of the United States ambassador to Libya. Questions still remain, though, about the security around the U.S. consulate in Benghazi at the time of the attack. Vivian Walt writes for our sister publication, Time Magazine. She interviewed a Libyan politician who had breakfast with Ambassador Chris Stevens the day he died. Vivian is joining us. Vivian, I understand he warned the ambassador, this is what you're writing, he warned the ambassador that that he was in deep potential security danger. What did you hear?
Well, Wolf, Fatih Badger, probably one of Libya's most prominent, most respected politicians, had been having breakfast with Chris Stevens in the consulate canteen, and he said he was truly alarmed by the lack of security. And he said, listen, Chris, you're the most powerful country in the world. You've got less security than all other countries. Even the Jordanians, the Moroccans have far more guards, and that you really have to bring Americans here to protect the consulate because the Libyans simply don't have the training, they don't have the equipment, and they simply can't get the job done.
Well, what kind of security did he have inside that consulate? What was there?
Well, there are two versions of the story. Fatih Badger said that what he saw was 4 Libyan guards out front, fairly relaxed, each of them with a Kalashnikov rifle over his back, very low-key security. There was a feeling, not at all a kind of feeling of being on alert, and let's not forget this was 9/11. The U.S. officials that have spoken to reporters have said that they had plenty of security and that they had reviewed the security procedures before 9/11 as a routine matter before the anniversary of the attacks, and that they did not find any inadequacies or any holes in the system. So clearly there's a very wide divergence, but the accounts that Fatih Badger gives is one of an eyewitness on the ground the morning of the attack.
You also report that the two of them had a discussion about a suggestion that the Libyan government was actually providing some cover for extremists. What was that about?
Well, this was not a new discussion, in fact. They had been having this kind of discussion over the past several months. And when I was in Libya a few months ago, I heard that the same discussion was going on between, among others, Western diplomats and people like Libyan politicians like this one, in which they argued, look, you have all these armed militia running around the countries, hugely well-equipped with rocket-propelled grenades, mortars, rockets, etc. And they've been given salaries by the government. They've effectively been given free rein in a lot of localities simply as a way to fill the security gap, even though these local militia really didn't owe any loyalties to the capital and had very little sentiment towards the new democracy. And in fact, many of them had hostility against the new democracy.
What were Mr. Baja's final words to Ambassador Stevens?
I'm not sure exactly what his final words were, but he did say, people love Americans. They admire the American way of life here in Benghazi. Obviously, people feel an enormous sense of gratitude for the Western intervention last year, but that there are plenty of extremists and that we just have to put an end to these people.
Vivian Walt, thanks very much for your reporting. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And in our next hour, we're going back to Tahrir Square in Cairo for a live report on those Egyptian protests we've been seeing against the United States.